Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Life with Patty. And you see I am in a little different section today. I am over by my books and I am by my DVD movies. As I fill up my bookshelf with books that I have read, I started this last year. I seem to be one of those that purge and get rid of all my books and then regret it later. So now I am keeping the books that I have read, unless I really hate them. But there hasn't been one like that for a while. So these books I read last year, and some of them this year. I think I am on my fourth book for this year. I'm not a fast reader like a lot of booktubers are. But today I am here with hashtag Thursday BookTube. This is hosted by myself and my friend Daphne over at My Mountain Home and Kitchen. If you would like to participate, anybody is welcome. And all you have to do is talk about books, about something to do with books, whether it be color books, cookbooks, regular reading novels, encyclopedias, dictionaries, the Bible, whatever you want. And you just upload on Thursdays, hashtag it Thursday BookTube, and share with us what you've read. There's all kinds of things to talk about with books. Take us to a bookstore with you, take us to a library with you, take us to a free little library that you go to. If you do a book haul, share that with us, whatever. Reorganizing your library, your home library, take us with you. So today I am going to do a couple different things. First, what, Jenny? Yes, I am in the middle of a video. Jenny wants all the attention here. I am going to do a review on The Last Thing He Told Me. This was by Laura Dave. This was my first time to read anything by her, and I give this 5 stars. I don't very often give 5 stars, but this was the second mystery I've read in a row, and I hardly ever read mysteries. I usually read historical fiction or I read romance, but I don't read a lot of mystery. So this was the second mystery book I read. The first one was The Orphanage by the Lake, which I reviewed in one of my prior videos on hashtag Thursday BookTube. And that one was a 4-star. This is a 5-star. So now you look at the title, The Last Thing He Told Me. So you think, oh, is it sad? Is it a tearjerker? Is he on his deathbed? It was the last thing he told his girlfriend or his wife or whoever. No, it is not. That is not it at all. So I don't want to give a lot of it away because it takes you to where you're thinking it's this person. No, it's this person. No, this happened. And that's a good mystery in my book. And he is... I don't know what it's called, but when your identity has been replaced because you know something, so they take you and they give you, the government gives you a new identity and a new location and a new job, and you live your life as this new person because you're under threat because you know things from something prior. Well, that's what this book is about, but you don't realize that until about halfway through the book. And it is a father and his daughter, and he falls in love with a woman from New York, and she is an artist, and he falls in love with her and talks her into moving to Sausalito, California, which is right next to San Francisco, and he lives on a houseboat, and I know exactly the location where he's talking about because my aunt and uncle lived in that same boat dock that you could live on, houseboats in Sausalito. My dad's sister and her husband lived there for many years. And all of a sudden one day he just disappears. And then the business that he works for is being sued for false advertisement and not following through and getting like buyers for their company, and yet they're not coming through with the computer stuff that they're supposed to come through with. And so he takes off and he leaves a note for his wife that says, take care of her. No matter what you do, take care of her, or something like that, meaning his daughter. And so now she's got people harassing her. She's got people following her. She's got the FBI following her. She's got private investigators following her. And so the mystery goes on from there. And it just gets more twisted as you go. And so I don't want to give any more away from that book than I just told you, because it was a great read. So I highly suggest it. The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. The second part of this video that I'd like to do today is I watched, what's her name, honey? I just told us, Jen's Reading Life. Is that what it was? This channel that I just started watching, her name is Jen. And boy, she is an avid reader. Last year, she read 185 books in 1 year. And she has very informative, long videos. And she talked about, in one of her videos, her 5 favorite female authors. I had not heard of one of them. So that just shows you how many books in the world there are, because all of her 5 favorite authors, I'd never heard of anyone. Now, I'm going to put her link to her channel in the description box below. Go over, check her out, tell her I sent you. She doesn't really know me. I've commented on 2 of her videos, but just let her know that I sent you, okay? Because her channel is about the same size as mine is. And she's very professional in her videos. She's very put together. She does a great job on her videos, way better than I do on mine. But she talked about her 5 favorite female authors. And like I said, I didn't know any of them. So that just goes to show me how many books in the world there really are. Okay, so we're going to start out with my first, and this is in no particular order. I'm going to start out with some of my favorite authors, female authors. Do you see my cute little bear here? I got him for Valentine's from my coworker, and we exchanged at work, and she gave that to him to me with a heart full of Reese's peanut butter cups, because she knows I love Reese's. And he's so cute, I had to put him on my bookshelf because I thought he was adorable. So we are going to start out with one of my first, I don't know if I'm going to do 5 or if I'm going to do 3 or 4. I'm not really sure. But one of my favorite female authors is Kristin Hannah. Now, her books are always quite long. Here is a picture. She has been deemed the author of the year. Like, she's the author to look out for. So this book was last year. She wrote this book, The Woman, and it is about Vietnam and the women that were nurses in Vietnam. It was a fabulous read. She hit the #1 charts with this book for many, many different categories or whatever, but it was a super good book. Okay, so Kristin Hannah also wrote The Great Alone, which was about a family in the 70s that took off and went to Alaska to homestead it there. And the father had PTS from Vietnam, and it was pretty gory in places, but it was a fabulous read as well. And I also read from Kristin Hannah last year, The Four Winds, which taught me so much about the Dust Bowl, and how I don't think I was ever taught about the Dust Bowl in school for history. Why we were not taught, I don't know, because it's something we should all know. And how these families were from Oklahoma, Texas, and Kansas, and the Dust Bowl, and how it was so dry, and the drought, and this was in the 40s, I believe, and how they were migrating to California, the 30s and the 40s, okay, and they were migrating to California to get a better life, to get work, and they weren't wanting to just be on some kind of assistance. They actually wanted to work, and how they were treated so horrible, and what they went through, and it was just a very well written book. I loved this book. So there is one of my favorite authors of my 5. It is Kristin Hannah, and I did read The Nightingale from her, but it's been a long time since I read that one. I don't have it here. Some books I will reread if I really like them, and so I will probably reread that one as well. Okay, the second favorite author that I like, and like I said, these are in no particular order, is Ellen Marie Wiseman. I stumbled upon Ellen Marie Wiseman, and this was her first book she ever wrote. And I think she wrote this about eight or 9 years ago. Oh, 2017. Okay. So 8 years ago, she wrote this book, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it was about a little girl that was born albino, and her mother was ashamed of her because she was albino. And so her mother locked her up in the attic, and that's where she lived. She just left her up there, basically to rot. And the father just would never stand up to the mother, but he would go up and visit her. And so she always had a positive feeling about her father. She loved her father, even though he wasn't man enough to stand up to his wife and tell her, you know, I don't care that she's albino. I still love her, and I want to have her lead a normal life with us. But she ended up selling her, the mother ended up selling her to the circus as a freak show. And this was back in the 40s. And so she went to find herself a whole new family at the circus that loved her and didn't judge her for being albino. And she fell in love with one of the men from the circus. And that was her life. And that was the life she was given. And she liked it way more than living up in the attic. But it does have a twist at the end that you don't expect. And you're like, wait, I have to reread this. Are you kidding me? So that is from Ellen Marie Wiseman. She also wrote The Plum Tree, which was about World War II. And she's so descriptive in everything that she talks about. And she said this book was based on her grandmother's life. So she said this book took her a long time to write because of the emotions and talking to her grandmother about it. So another super fabulous read. And then she has one called The Coal Miners River, and I don't have that one. I loaned out my whole collection of this Ellen Marie Wiseman to somebody who decided that I guess they needed it more than me, and they never returned it to me. And so that is that. And so I had to start my collection again. And what I did is I think I had given her 4 books, and since then Ellen Marie has written 2 more books. So thank goodness that I didn't have to replace all of them. But the next one that Ellen Marie wrote was What She Left Behind. I have read this twice, and I absolutely love it. I don't hardly ever read a book twice, but this was about a girl that was put into a sane asylum because she was promiscuous and wanted to date a Spaniard. He was from Spain, I believe, or maybe he was from Italy. And her father did not want her to date him, and so he claimed her insane because she wouldn't listen to him. And I guess back in the 30s and the 40s you could do that. And so they put her into the insane asylum, and what she went through in there. Of course, this is not a true story, but she's just, talked about how she lived there and how they treated her. Now, the asylum that they talk about in here is a true mental institute in New York. And so it was really a good story, The next one that Ellen Marie wrote was The Lost Girls of Willowbrook, and this just hit so hard for me. I actually Googled Willowbrook, and that is an actual a children's asylum in Long Island, New York. It has finally been closed. It did not close till the 80s. And I even saw clips on YouTube about the real Willowbrook and how they treated them. It was horrible. And this was about these girls that were a twin that was put into the asylum by her father, and they kept the other twin at home. And it was because this twin was a little special needs. And then she became lost, and the whole mystery of that. But it was such a good book, but it's so sad. And Ellen Marie does write kind of dark stories, but I love all her work. She has another book out that she's it just published, and it will be out, I believe, in June. And I'm on the list to get it right away. And another one that she wrote is The Orphan Collector. And this was her last book that she has written. This was also about the Depression in the 30s and the 40s, and they lived in Chicago, I believe, and how poor everybody was, and that, you know, parents were dying of the flu bug that was going, the Spanish flu, and it was almost close to how COVID was for us, and how they were in lockdown at their homes, and there was no food, and it was like, I mean, we had food, but it was because people were hoarding it that we didn't have food. But it was just a really good story about children, that this lady was an orphan collector, and she was picking up children and taking them to the orphanage. Some she was adopting out, and they were deeming her as this wonderful lady that helped so many people, and really she wasn't a good person. But it was a great book. So any of Ellen Marie Wiseman's books, they're standalone books, and they are all 5 stars for me. So she is another of my favorite authors. Okay, a third favorite author for me is just, I know I will get a lot of flack for this, but I love Danielle Steel, and Danielle Steel is who got me into reading. So if it wasn't for Danielle, I don't think I would have picked up reading like I did. And after I've read a very dark book like this, and I just have a book hangover, I turn to Danielle, and she gets me flushed out and refurbished, I guess. You know, and even right now I'm reading one of her books because I got into a book slump and I couldn't get into a book, and I just picked up a book of hers. I don't even remember this one. I can't remember, and I pick it up, and here's another book of hers. But she has, like, I don't even know. She has a few hundred books that she's written. But Danielle always gets me out of my reading funk. So if I'm in a funk and I can't find a book to read, I pick up one of her books and I get right into it. And that's what's happened to me just recently. I was trying to read an Ann Patchett book because she was recommended to me by Kim from Kim's Inspired Life, and Donna from Just Donna Maria. They both love Ann Patchett. They want to read all her books. And so Kim actually gave me Tom Lake, the novel by Ann Patchett. I just could not get into it. And I tried and I tried and I tried. And I thought, I'm getting into a reading slump or something. So I picked up The Royal by Danielle Steel. And 30 pages later, I was back in the groove. And so you just, if a book doesn't work for you, I used to think you have to read that book no matter what. Now I don't feel like that. Now I just like, if it doesn't work for me, I'm just going to turn it in and get a different book. And so that's what I did this last time with the Danielle Steel book. Okay, so that is 3 authors. My 4th favorite author is Terry McMillan. And Terry McMillan is from Oakland, California, which is not too far from me. And her books are just downright funny. She's always got little quips in there of funny little sayings. It's usually just books about everyday life and some kind of problems. So, you know, what we have, this one is Who Asked You? She also wrote Waiting to Exhale and How Stella Got Her Groove Back, which were both made into movies. And I Almost Forgot About You is another one of her books. And The Interruption of Everything, I just finished this one. And I just got in A Day Late and a Dollar Short. I have read all 3 of these books twice. And I'm going to read A Day Late and a Dollar Short for the 2nd time as well. And her books are just funny. Her books are about life, and she's a Black lady, and she writes about Black family culture and different things, and she just makes you laugh. And so if you want a book that's going to make you laugh, a little raunchy once in a while, but I still enjoy her books. And so my friend, she read one of her books. She read The Interruption of Everything, and she said that she literally was laughing out loud reading the book, and she loved it so much she wanted to buy another one of Terry's books to read. So I love her as an author. Okay, so my 5th author for today is Donna Everhart. Oh my goodness. So she wrote The Moonshiner's Daughter. Oh, such a good book about the Depression and being a moonshiner's daughter, and the flood washing away their house and everything they had, and how they coped with it, how they survived it. This one is The Road to Bittersweet, and she has many, many, many more books. And so I love her books as well. A little dark, a little sad. So once you read one of hers, then you got to go back to a Danielle to cleanse you, and then you can go on with another book. So those are the 5 that I am sharing for today that are my 5 favorite authors. And so we have Kristen Hanna, we have Ellen Marie Wiseman, we have Danielle Steele, we have Terry McMillan, and we have Donna Everhart. Those are my favorite 5 female authors as of February 2025. Now, in the comments below, please write to me who are your favorite authors, female authors. We'll do male authors later, but for right now, who are your favorite female authors? Have you heard of any of these authors? Because like I said, when I watched Jen's video, literally had not heard of any of the authors that she talked about. So I'm wondering if you have heard of any of these authors. I'm sure most of you have all heard of Danielle Steele, but have you read a Danielle Steele book is the thing. You know, Terry McMillan, Donna Everhart, Ellen Marie Wiseman. These are authors that not everybody might have heard about. Kristen Hanna, unless you live under a rock, I'm sure that you have heard of her. But just curious if any of these 5 authors are authors that you like. And please, again, tell me who your favorite 5 authors are. I can't wait to find out. All right, you guys. So if you would like to participate in Thursday BookTube, please do so. Any Thursday is fine. You don't have to do it every Thursday. You can do it whenever you want. And Daphne and I will look forward to watching your video. Hashtag it, Thursday BookTube. And then if you put it in our, hosted by Life with Patty and My Mountain Home and Kitchen, Daphne will put you on a playlist. We have a playlist, and I think there's over 200 videos on there. And so you're more than welcome to upload, and we would love to have you join us. So you guys have a great day. Take care, and I shall talk to you later. Bye-bye.